Hello. In today's session, we're going to look at Zero Trust Edge web isolation integrated with Prisma Access. I'm sure you're already aware that Prisma Access provides excellent protection against websites using DNS-based risk scoring metrics. This is great, but it is somewhat restrictive because there's only really two options: allow access to a website or block access to a website. Overblocking creates internal problems with users being less productive because they cannot get to websites. Underblocking leaves the organization exposed to malware or zero-day attacks. By integrating Zero Trust Edge web isolation with Prisma Access, we actually create a very powerful third option. The third option, web isolation, means that there's zero chance of the endpoint becoming infected and zero chance of the network becoming infected from any malicious content, allowing the user to safely browse any website that you choose to push through isolation. Setup is straightforward. Configure a continue page template inside Prisma Access. Create a new URL access profile and configure the categories or custom categories that you want to send to isolation, and then deploy a new access profile that includes the URL access profile that you've just created. So having done all of that, let's take a look at how this appears to the end user. So here I'm connected to a desktop that's running the Prisma Access Global Protect client. As you can see here, that's connected. If I open up a browser now, all of the traffic is being controlled by Prisma Access. So for example, a site that can be whitelisted. I set gambling sites to go through isolation. You can also see here we have some indicators turned on the page. So there's a red frame around the outside. There's also an indicator at the top to say that this has gone to isolation. These can be turned on or off depending on whether you want users to be able to easily identify that the page is isolated. If we look at the source code of this page, we can see that instead of seeing the normal source code for gambling.com, we're actually seeing the Ericom isolation source code. In addition to the page being isolated, if the user decides to download a file from an isolated website, in this case I'm just going to use an image that's part of the web page, you can see that it goes through a sanitization process, and that sanitization process will remove any active content that it finds from that file and delivers a safe and usable file void of any active and potentially malicious content. So by integrating ZTEdge web isolation and Prisma Access, you're able to gain a more flexible and productive approach to web browsing without compromising security. In this short video, I've demonstrated using a secure block page redirection method to send the traffic to web isolation. We also have a unique offering with Palo Alto Prisma Access, which is to utilize a service connection. For more information, visit our website, zerotrustedge.com.
ZTEdge, the simple, affordable way to move to zero trust security.